Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles, and these battles are not mine. These were sent in by a player named AmbivalentSoul's, and this is the team that he used to reach an all-time high for him, number 150 on the leaderboard. Congratulations, AmbivalentSoul's. And yeah, so this is the team. He's opening Mandibuzz. I don't have a Mandibuzz built. I'm not up to that much XL candy, but Ambivalent grinds a lot more than I do, so has hatched enough eggs to get his Mandibuzz up to level 50 where it needs to be. He is running this along with a Roserade, running Poison Jab with Weather Ball Fire. It was the Community Day move, and the recently buffed Leaf Storm. And then has a Typhlosion in the back running Incinerate, so the same Typhlosion that I use. And yeah. So, this is the first set of games that I'm casting from someone who's not me. I have decided to open up submissions. I'm looking for games that are played at leaderboard height, whether it's your first time reaching the leaderboard or just, a regular run if you happen to be kind of a regular there. Would love to get a hold of your games so that I can cast some styles of play and some teams that I haven't really built. Just, games that are different from mine. I think it would be nice to mix it up, and it would take some pressure off me because it's hard and also very expensive to be trying to experiment with lots of different teams when we all know that it's usually a little bit more consistent to have a team that you're familiar with and to kind of make small amendments to that team as needed. But yeah. So, if you would like to send me games, please record minimum 2, but I would really honestly prefer 3 sets. I think 3 sets is a good number to kind of really get a strong feel for a team, how it's played, what some of its shortcomings are. And please record all the way up to the same point that I do. Send me consecutive games, and yeah, include your claim screens. I like to have those to kind of have a minute to discuss my thoughts between games so that I don't have to actually just call out the action continuously. And it's nice to kind of reflect at the end of some matches, so I like to have a few seconds there also. Sorry, I know I'm being super, super picky when I'm asking for material, but just, I'll take the material anyway. That's just how I would prefer to receive it. Yeah, DM me on Twitter if you'd like to offer me something like that. So, yeah. Sorry I haven't made any content for the last 9 days, 10 days. It's been a long time. Pretty much all of Ultra League. Didn't get around to making an open Ultra League team. Yeah, I've just felt really out of it. It actually has nothing to do with the reason a lot of other people have been feeling out of it. I'm actually not really that bothered by the reduction in Pokestop distance. Yes, it's extremely inconvenient. I went from having 3 house stops to having 0 house stops. I now can't reach a Pokestop from my house anymore. So, yeah, wildly inconvenient, but to be fair, wild inconvenience was always kind of the point of Pokemon Go. It, forced you to go out of your way for, running through the park for that Vaporeon back in the day in Central Park or anywhere else that it sent you. They used to not even show you where on the map a Pokemon was. It used to just be a vague amount of distance from you, and you had to literally explore to try to find the thing. Yeah. Incredibly inconvenient game to play, always has been. It just only became convenient to play recently, and now they've taken that away, and some people are really, really upset, and I'm just inconvenienced by it, but, I understand. I get it. It's fine. Niantic wants to maintain the integrity of the essence of their game, which is being incredibly inconvenient to play, wanting you to go all the way out of your way for something. That's fine. Would I prefer to be able to spin the stop without having to, walk all the way up to something? Sure. But it's fine. I get it. So, yeah, that Roserade just threw a Leaf Storm against that Deoxys defense, and it did ridiculous amounts of damage. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to jump right into casting this one, by the way. So, yeah. Roserade into DD. Not an amazing match for Roserade, just because the Psycho Boosts do such devastating damage. Ambivalent manages to take a shield and let himself go down there. So, gonna bring Mandibuzz back out. And since this Deoxys has already thrown the Psycho Boost and debuffed its attack by 2 stages, even the Thunderbolt hitting for super effective is doing nearly nothing, like 20%. Yeah, it's not much. Gonna throw another Psycho Boost, and it does absolutely nothing. Ambivalent's gonna switch into Typhlosion to get an Incinerate in to get a jump on energy. So up a shield with a tiny energy advantage on Typhlosion. We're gonna find out that G-Fisk is gonna come back out. So not saving G-Fisk for Mandibuzz. He's gonna throw this Blast Burn as soon as he has it. 2 Incinerates takes as much time as it takes to throw the 5 Mud Shots that you need to reach the Rock Slide. So at this point, Ambivalent can just double shield here, and that will enable him to take out this G-Fisk. This one can't be an Earthquake. It can only be a Rock Slide, so I would maybe have let this go, but that would leave Typhlosion super, super low, so I understand why he would want to shield. And now he's going to throw 1 extra, and then the opponent tried to catch on Meganium, so Ambivalent is just going to finish building up to 100 energy. Now he has back-to-back Blast Burns. He's going to be able to throw this Blast Burn and take out this Meganium. Meganium actually survives, is unbelievably tanky in Ultra League. Oh my gosh. Can just throw 1 more Incinerate though, and now Meganium wasn't able to reach the Earthquake, can only throw this Frenzy Plant, managed to take that out, and now can just throw the Blast Burn as soon as G-Fisk comes back out, and can definitely solidly take that game. GG. That was a wild endgame sweep with Typhlosion, but yeah, endgame sweeps are really what Typhlosion is best at. So yeah, next up against Mr. Mr. Kotaku. Mandibuzz into Gliscor. That is not a matchup I'm familiar with at all, and I'm not going to get to be familiar with it just yet. I'm going to have to wait. So switches into Politoed, and Ambivalent is going to send out Roserade. Roserade would survive an Earthquake from here. Only the Blizzard is really threatening. Going to shield this first move, and now is going to just throw this this Weather Ball Fire. If it were to land, it would not really do that much damage, maybe 25%. Most of the damage is being done by these Poison Jabs. Building up, and gonna throw the next Weather Ball here before Politoed is able to reach one of its bigger charge moves. And that was a CMP tie. This is probably a Weather Ball because Politoads love baiting. Yes, it's just a Weather Ball. Able to let that go, and would actually survive another Weather Ball from this range. Gonna throw its Gonna throw his own Weather Ball Fire, and that is going to hit, and yeah, dude, not really that much damage. Could definitely no shield here. If this is a Weather Ball, you would survive it, and I probably would be able to Poison Jab the rest of the way down. It is, and now we're down shields, and just barely not able to Poison Jab the rest of the way down. This isn't lag where he's getting any moves, it's just having trouble loading the bubble minigame. So yeah, Politoed actually reached the Earthquake there and was able to take out Roserade. That was definitely the right move. Roserade would easily have survived the Weather Ball. And yeah, Typhlosion going to come in and throw 1 Incinerate and manage to take him down. You can actually reach this Solar Beam before Gliscor is able to reach the Earthquake. Tried to switch out to Mandibuzz to catch the Earthquake, but Gliscor did not throw it. And yeah, unfortunately now Mandibuzz is kind of stuck against the... Alola Ninetales. I would really have preferred to throw the Solar Beam right away, or at least to throw the Blast Burn. Blast Burn hits Gliscor for neutral and does tremendous damage. It wouldn't one-shot, but it would bring him really low in a way so that you'd be able to, take him out with 1 more Blast Burn if you were able to charge up to that. Now he's going to have to throw double Blast Burn to take Gliscor out. So this is kind of a precarious situation. Mandibuzz is going to be able to get charmed the whole way down, not going to be able to take out Ninetales. These Aerial Aces just don't do enough damage. Aerial Ace is a pretty terrible move. Switches out to Typhlosion, gets in an Incinerate, and is going to absorb the damage from this charge move, whatever it is the Weather Ball. Easily able to survive that, and spamming out the Blast Burn button, that is absolutely the right move. Solar Beam would just barely not take out Gliscor also. He would have to throw an Incinerate after, and that would enable Gliscor to get to and throw the Earthquake. As it is, he's still 1 wing attack away, so just going to throw the next Blast Burn also. Take out Gliscor, and now you just need to get 1 Incinerate in to take out this Ninetales. They're going to throw the Psyshock, but you will just barely survive it. And yeah, just needs to get this Incinerate out. There is some visual lag, but the Incinerate does go through before the second Charm is able to land. And yeah, manages to take that game. GG. Oh, that was a wild end. All right, next up. Mandibuzz into Stunfisk. This is a terrible lead, and honestly, this whole team looks pretty weak to Stunfisk to begin with. Switching out to Roserade, this is an okay matchup. If you get baited with Rock Slide, it actually becomes quite bad. You would barely survive the Earthquakes from here, and yeah, actually shields the Rock Slide bait. That is not amazing. Leaf Storm does more damage than Weather Ball does. But yeah, gonna throw this Weather Ball here. G-Fist can survive 2 Weather Balls. Just because the Poison Jabs are doing nothing. Able to get to this next move here, and yeah. Gonna no shield, and this time it is the Earthquake. Roserade just barely survives it, and is throwing the Weather Ball. If you throw the Leaf Storm would actually do more damage from here, even though it hits for neutral and Weather Ball hits for super effective. It's just, you know, Leaf Storm gets stabbed, and it's a hugely powerful move, does tremendous damage to neutral targets. So yeah, now we're down a shield, and don't really have an amazing answer for G-Fisk anyway. Gonna send Mandibuzz back out, and Mandibuzz is gonna have to absorb a lot of damage from this G-Fisk before he's able to take him down. Should probably throw the Foul Play right away, building up a little bit of extra energy first. That's fine. Gonna throw this Foul Play here and take out G-Fisk. But yeah, Mandibuzz has no energy, really, and already down a shield. Ninetales comes out. It is a Powder Snow Ninetales. Gonna send out Typhlosion, and the opponent is staying in for a bit. Yeah, so maybe there is hope here. I would definitely no-shield this move. Whatever it is, it won't do that much damage to Typhlosion. Ends up shielding the Gleam, which is nice, but, like, yeah, would definitely have easily survived that. Gets up to 100 energy, so now you can throw double Blast Burn against this Meganium, but, like, it's not quite going to be enough, because Meganium's going to be able to reach an Earthquake before you're able to reach a third. Gonna throw 1 Incinerate. I would definitely recommend just throwing back-to-back. If you throw 1 Incinerate, Meganium can get in 3 Vine Whips in that same amount of time, so we'll easily be able to reach this Earthquake well before Typhlosion is able to reach the third Blast Burn. Definitely don't survive the Earthquake, but would definitely have been able to survive the Dazzling Gleam, so I definitely would have held onto the shield there. But yeah, you never really know what's in the back, so it's definitely risky. So Mandibuzz is going to throw this Aerial Ace, find out how much that does against Meganium, and the answer is not really that much. Aerial Ace is a pretty terrible move to begin with, and Mandibuzz has incredibly low attack. Can easily survive anything that Meganium can throw at it, though. So building up some excess energy before throwing this first Aerial Ace. It's going to hit Ninetales and do, yeah, neutral damage, not really that much. And with that, yeah, AmbivalentSoul is going to make his escape from that game. Yeah, just wasn't going to be able to come back from that lead and swap. All right, Mandibuzz into Skarmory. So this is like a pretty neutral matchup. It can be a little bit bait dependent, but if you're the Mandibuzz in this situation, you pretty much just straight no shield everything. Like if you get Brave Birded early, it's fine. That means Skarmory has lowered his defense and definitely loses the matchup. I like to build up a little bit more energy if I were playing this matchup, just so that you can be prepared for when the Brave Bird gets thrown, if the Brave Bird gets thrown. Also, having a lot of energy built up really disincentivizes them from throwing the Brave Bird. Like, if you have a bunch of energy, they are much less inclined to throw it, way more inclined to throw the Sky Attack first. So the Sky Attack goes through, and now we're going to throw the Foul Play here. So Skarmory can definitely let this go because they will easily survive it. And yeah, if this is the Brave Bird, it will just barely not KO, but if this Skarmory were best buddied, like this Skarmory is level 50, it doesn't have its best buddy sticker on its body yet, so it could have been a little bit stronger, but that's all right. Still a simultaneous KO, so not the worst thing that can happen. And just going to send Roserade out, and it's a Stunfisk back there, so this is not amazing, but I guess Roserade is kind of this team's answer to Stunfisk to begin with. So just going to throw the Weather Ball Fire. Hits, does a decent chunk of damage. The Poison Jabs are doing absolutely nothing. Gonna shield this move here, and it is the Rock Slide bait. So Yeah, not an amazing situation. If you get this Weather Ball through, though, you can kind of switch out to Typhlosion. I imagine that's what he's probably trying to go for. Gets a shield instead, and that's also fine. Yeah, gonna spam out this next Weather Ball as soon as he's got it. And that will bring G-Fisk low enough that you can switch out into Typhlosion. Get the shield, so that's also fine. At this point, I would definitely no shield. Roserade, try to find out what else is in the back. If it's a Rock Slide, you survive, and yeah, switches out to Typhlosion right away. That's exactly what I would have done also. There is a Politoed in the back, so that is really bad for Typhlosion. We get some nice visual lag, and that's all right. Gonna throw this Solar Beam before Politoed is able to reach the Earthquake. Also possible that he was just lagging, so couldn't throw it. And yeah, gonna one-shot Politoed, and with that, the game is kind of over. This G-Fisk is low enough that Roserade can take it out with a Weather Ball, so if you just no-shield this, and yeah, if it turns out to be a Rock Slide bait, then G-Fisk has nowhere to go at this point. Yeah, GG. Very well played. So with that, manages to take that, and that is a 4 out of 5, goes up to 33-24, so doing these battles pretty high. I think this would be on around page 3 or so. This was a few days ago, so the leaderboard wasn't quite at 3,600 where it is now. So yeah, switches in Roserade as the safe swap and is greeted with a Mandibuzz. That is a pretty hard counter to Roserade. The Weather Balls do not that much. I mean, they're non-stab. Roserade hits really, really hard, but Mandibuzz just can easily take that damage. Has to kind of let Roserade kind of has to let the move go here. There's really not a lot that Roserade can do. Like, can definitely unload all of this damage as fast as they can. I guess in the 2 shield, maybe you'd be able to flip it, but like, I can't imagine that Mandibuzz would shield, so you just end up dropping a lot of shields. Gonna have his own Mandibuzz come back out, and this is actually one of the situations where losing lead and losing switch is a lot worse for a team that leads with something that's really, really tanky. Like, this is one of those stylistic team building choices that I usually don't make, which is why I personally wouldn't end up running a team like this that often. When you lead with something like Mandibuzz, something that's really, really tanky, you don't really have the option of losing switch also and coming in and farming down. Mandibuzz doesn't have great farm down potential, and even if it did farm down, energy on Mandibuzz isn't really that valuable because there's a lot of things in the meta that can absorb it very easily. Like 100 energy on Mandibuzz might end up converting to as little as like 30-40% damage on an enemy Mandibuzz or on a fairy type. Just, you don't really have the ability to farm down with Mandibuzz once you've lost lead and swap and still be able to come back from a lot of things. So yeah, just a stylistic thing, like a team building method that's not really mine. Like, super tanky Pokemon are pretty good for winning lead. They'll probably win lead more often than something like Shadow Charizard, but they don't have farm down potential and the ability to then unload a ton of really valuable energy in super hard hitting moves. So yeah, just a little like stylistic tidbit that I kind of wanted to add. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this team or that any team building strategy is better or worse than another. It's just a different style. That's really all I'm pointing out. So yeah, Roserade just kind of one swap over a Typhlosion, which is freaking nuts. But yeah, I can definitely see why that would work. If your Typhlosion is Shadow Claw, yeah, Roserade will just straight up outpace it. So now we have Roserade. It has already debuffed itself 2 stages, but I mean, the Weather Ball still does respectable damage. Gonna actually switch Mandibuzz out into this G-Fisk to preserve Roserade for later, which is a crazy decision, but I mean, yeah, I guess I can see it. Like, Stunfisk would be able to farm up a lot more energy if you stayed in before they wanted to throw their Rock Slide, just because, you know, after you debuff your attack like that, the Weather Balls just don't do as much. So, opponent definitely not going to switch out here unless they had a really, really hard counter to Mandibuzz in the back. Can take these Rock Slides fairly well and unload back with neutral, neutral Snarls and neutral Foul Play. So it's not the worst matchup ever, but like, yeah, definitely not winning. Going to be able to reach this next Foul Play, which is going to bring this G-Fisk really, really low. Fisk is going to have to throw a Rock Slide at some point to finish, and there is actually a Deoxys in the back. So yeah, since he swapped into his Deoxys and Deoxys is switch locked, it's definitely tough for Deoxys to throw a Psycho Boost. So he actually switches out into Roserade to force Deoxys to throw the Psycho Boost. Otherwise, would end up having to shield a Leaf Storm, which would do devastating damage. So now this Deoxys has taken out Roserade, but his attack has been double debuffed. So we're just going to send out Typhlosion. And yeah, these Incinerates are doing pretty respectable damage. This Blast Burn would KO from here, and since his opponent is really, really low on health on G-Fisk, kind of has to shield this and preserve his Deoxys. But yeah, even a Rock Slide from this Deoxys, now that he's debuffed his attack 2 stages, wouldn't KO. Ends up throwing a Psycho Boost, which does, yeah, not that much, loses even further attack, and could have thrown another Psycho Boost, which would have done even less damage, but if he had done that, would have just enabled Ambivalent to charge up more energy before the swap. As this is, it just doesn't make a difference, though. 2 Incinerates is going to be all it's going to take out G-Fisk. Just going to have to shield this move, and then the second Incinerate will register and take G-Fisk out. Even if G-Fisk was at back-to-back, wouldn't have been able to throw both of those moves. So yeah, managed to take that game pretty cleanly there. That was kind of a nuts game. GG, though. All right, next up against Danielon. Mandibuzz into Stunfisk. This is a terrible lead, and I've noticed Ambivalent has been getting these an awful lot. Switches Roserade in and is greeted with a Drifblim. So this is, yeah, pretty bad. The Poison Jabs, which is one of the main things that does damage with Roserade, are doing not really that much. The Weather Ball hits for neutral, and yeah, if you were to shield this Icy Wind, it would take, I don't think 2 Weather Balls would be enough, so it just would be impossibly hard to catch up here. Surprisingly, Roserade actually survives the Icy Wind in the first place, which is nuts to me. Gonna throw this Weather Ball. Yeah, now that it's been debuffed, it really just doesn't do that much. Gonna throw the next Weather Ball also. And I mean, Drifblim will be able to survive this, but it will leave them very, very low. So they're actually going to shield, because if they hadn't shielded, it probably would have given Roserade the option to shield and maybe be able to Poison Jab the rest of the way down. So just opponent wants to play it safe, definitely wants to win switch. Mandibuzz is going to come back out, and this is okay. I mean, down a shield, but Mandibuzz is going to be able to snarl the whole way down, I think. Or maybe just take this Icy Wind damage and then switch in Typhlosion, which is exactly what Ambivalent is going to do. Going to be able to throw 2 Incinerates, and yeah, the opponent actually switches out to preserve their Drifblim, switches in Stunfisk to get it out a little bit faster, but I mean, Stunfisk is down a shield, so, and yeah, Typhlosion has an energy lead here, so he's just going to be able to throw this Blast Burn, get this shield. Stunfisk is switch locked, so yeah, he's just going to be able to reach this next Blast Burn. You could survive this. It is definitely a Rock Slide, but since you don't really know what else is back there, it makes sense to kind of shield this. Can't really farm up too much extra energy, so just going to throw this Blast Burn right away. Safely take out Stunfisk. Stunfisk is a huge threat to both Typhlosion and Mandibuzz, and let's see what else is back there. And it is a Tangrowth. Yeah, could have tried to switch out to catch this move, but I mean, you would survive this anyway, so could just undertap, survive this Rock Slide, undertap to get to it and throw, but no, actually switches into their Drifblim because anticipating the opponent making a swap catch, which is fantastic. So yeah, now this game is pretty much over. Typhlosion has a move loaded and would definitely win CMP against Tangrowth, but Mandibuzz is going to be able to take Tangrowth out anyway, just double throw these aerial aces, and yeah, managed to take Tangrowth down for a very clean victory off of that terribly lost lead and lost swap. GG. Very well played. All right, Mandibuzz against Armored Mewtwo. This is pretty damn good for Mandibuzz. Armored Mewtwo going to switch out to Primeape, which isn't an amazing counter to Mandibuzz either. Mandibuzz could definitely stay in and force a shield before switching out, but I guess wants to maintain this. And yeah, is eager to get Roserade out of the game because Roserade, being a poison type, takes tremendous damage from Armored Mewtwo's confusions. So going to throw this Weather Ball, force a shield, and is able to get to the next Weather Ball. The opponent definitely recognizing this and is trying to throw their move here. So Ambivalent's actually going to shield here, even though very, very low health. Throw their own Weather Ball to force the shield out of them or take switch advantage and leave themselves very, very low. Oh my gosh, doesn't actually KO, and yeah, actually manages a simultaneous KO on this Primeape. Okay, wasn't expecting that. I really thought the Weather Ball would KO from there. So waiting until the very last second, and then sending out Mandibuzz, is greeted with Armored Mewtwo again, and there's a Stunfisk back there, so that's okay. This is actually going to be a bait-dependent matchup. Stunfisk versus Typhlosion in the one shield. If you shield this into the Earthquake, you win as Typhlosion, but if you get baited as the Rock Slide, which is what happens, then this becomes way, way worse. Unfortunately, now, Typhlosion going to be able to throw this Blast Burn, get the last shield, but you're going to be outpaced well before you're able to reach the second Blast Burn. G-Fisk is going to be able to reach the Earthquake and is going to manage to take out Typhlosion from there, so that's pretty rough. I mean, it's not over yet because Mandibuzz does still have some energy, and the Incinerate damage against G-Fisk has been helpful. So definitely need to get these foul plays out as soon as you possibly can here. Gonna eat that Rock Slide, does super effective damage, but it's not really hitting that hard because G-Fisk doesn't hit that hard. Fast move denying, and gonna throw this foul play here. G-Fisk is gonna survive, unfortunately, and you could maybe have tried to throw that right away, but G-Fisk was going to win CMP anyway. So now I guess you're kind of in a position where you have to snarl the whole way down, but opponent anticipates that, switches out into Mewtwo. You could double throw foul play here for sure. I'm not sure if that would actually KO, but I guess we're going to find out here. And yeah, no, that is not going to be enough. We're going to have to get another 2 foul plays in. Almost that back-to-back here, but unfortunately, Armored Mewtwo is going to reach their move, and it is the Dynamic Punch. Hits for neutral, but surprisingly enough, Mandibuzz actually survives it. That's wild. Gonna throw this foul play, and it's not gonna be enough. You can't snarl down from here. You have to throw the next one, and you should really throw it right away. Because, I don't know, probably wouldn't have been able to snarl down. Yeah, this is just a really difficult position. Ends up taking the Side Strike. Could have thrown the foul play, but almost definitely wouldn't have been able to snarl down G-Fisk. G-Fisk would have just reached a Rock Slide, and yeah. Ambivalent didn't really have a way to go from there. So, alright. Next up, Mandibuzz into Mandibuzz. So, yeah. The opposing Mandibuzz actually is using Air Slash, which makes this way, way worse for Mandibuzz with Snarl. I mean, Snarl Mandibuzz will reach the charge move slightly faster, but I mean, the damage... It's funny to refer to fast move damage coming from Mandibuzz. But yeah, the Aerial Ace hitting for neutral just does so much more, even though it's incredibly little. It still does so much more than the Snarl damage does. It just, that Mandibuzz just out-damages Snarl Mandibuzz so much. So gonna switch out there into Roserade. I don't know that I agree with this decision because now the Air Slashes are doing super effective damage. Yeah, I don't know, that's tough, yeah. So the Weather Ball does fairly respectable damage, and I mean... The poison jabs are doing fairly respectable damage, but I mean, yeah, you can shield here, but we don't yet know what the opponent has in the back. He's built up a bunch of excess energy. You have to kind of throw this Weather Ball here. It would not quite KO, but it would enable you to, I guess, drop another shield and maybe poison jab the whole way down. So Mandibuzz is going to actually shield there, and I mean, you could shield here, but that would be giving up your last shield, and we don't know what would come out. You're kind of in farm down range, so it makes sense to kind of let it go. I'm not super sure what you do here in this situation. I would maybe send in Typhlosion to farm down with Incinerate, but Ambivalent's actually going to send Mandibuzz out. Has a bunch of energy already stored. Going to throw this Aerial Ace. It's going to not KO because Mandibuzz is pretty tanky, and Mandibuzz doesn't hit very hard. Going to try to snarl the rest of the way down, and going to end up having to eat another charge move, but that's fine because the charge moves from Mandibuzz don't really do that much damage to Mandibuzz, which was the problem in the first place. Tried to switch out to get an Incinerate worth of damage lead with Typhlosion, but yeah, just going to be met with a G-Fisk and switches out to Typhlosion right away. G-Fisk has a slight energy lead though, so... Oh, this is tough. This is the same situation as before. Gonna call the bait this time, and yeah, it is a Rock Slide bait, so good call. Kind of has to throw the Blast Burns as soon as he's got them. This G-Fisk is going to throw its next Rock Slide here. I would have preferred to throw the first Blast Burn ahead of time so that you force out the shield before taking it yourself. And yeah, this G-Fisk has some excess energy already though, so you're going to throw this Blast Burn and really needs to throw the next one right away, or maybe after just one Incinerate. Definitely don't throw 2 Incinerates and then try to throw... Oh my gosh, this is... yeah, that's rough. So definitely kind of lost track of his opponent's energy there. Gonna send Mandibuzz out, and yeah, gonna have to throw these foul plays, but this G-Fisk is going to kind of outpace here. Gonna have to throw the next one back to back, or at least, yeah, really, really soon. Has to throw this foul play here. It is just gonna barely take out G-Fisk from there, and yeah, there is something double weak to Typhlosion on the back, so... Oh man, yeah, that's really rough. Definitely kind of threw this last game here. Needed to throw his energy with Typhlosion earlier, but like, that's fine. At least this time it's not my terrible mistake. Usually when this happens, it's my terrible mistake. This time it's somebody else's. I'm sorry I'm pointing it out like that. That's just the way I've always casted. Yeah, if you're gonna send me games, definitely consider that, like, you know, mistakes that are made. I'll probably yeah, look at this, notice them and point them out. But yeah, thank you very much to Ambivalent Soul for sending me these games. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. So yeah, send me games if you're at leaderboard height, please. Would love to cast more games that are not mine. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. This is a terrible video ending.